Okay, tonight we're going to barbecue some lobster tails. I'm going to show you how to cut those and make them look very pretty, so that they look like you're having them in a restaurant. They're simply just going to be barbecued on the shell, and I'm just going to brush them with some little, I guess, marinade, which is basically just going to be some good quality Spanish olive oil, some fresh lemon juice from fresh lemons that I've picked off the tree, bit of garlic. I'm cheating and using pre-ground stir-in garlic rather than crushing my own because I'm lazy. Bit of paprika, only a sprinkle of it, just to give us a bit of that red colour when it barbecues up, and a bit of fresh ground black pepper. I'm going to make that into a little marinade, brush it on as I put them on the barbecue and as I cook them. Okay, now after I've fork whisked all these marinade ingredients together, this is what you're left with. So this is your olive oil, your lemon juice. Okay, you can see the bits of lemon in there because I've just hand squeezed them, and that's fine. So olive oil, lemon juice, bit of fresh cracked black pepper, the minced garlic, and the paprika. You can see the paprika gives it a nice orange colour. But when I brush that, and that's how I'm going to be brushing it on as the lobster tails cook, it's going to give them a really nice, vibrant orange colour on the skin, which just makes them look absolutely beautiful and brilliant. Really, that way when you cut into that flesh of the lobster, you've got the nice orange colour on the outside and then this beautiful white flesh on the inside, and it just looks amazing. Okay, now we're going to look at how to make these lobster tails look really pretty and cook them up beautifully. What you want to do is you want to stand the lobster tail, or sit it here on its belly with the shell up the top. So the belly's down, shell up the top. And what you want to do is you want to cut straight down the middle of this spine, right? Just to the end of the tail. Try not to cut the last shell segment. Don't cut this last one here, right? Leave that intact. But cut the rest of them straight down the middle here with your garden shears, also your kitchen shears, not garden shears. Keep the shears up close to the top of the shell, make your way down the back and cut down. Okay, so now I've cut all 4 of these lobster tails down the back here. You can see they're all split, and just at the end there it's not split. Okay, they're still intact right at the end there. The last little bit of the tail, I haven't split the shell. And then as you come up, see that? They're split right down the middle. Now I find that this is best done if your lobsters, if you buy these tails snap frozen, as I have, I've bought them snap frozen. And then what you want to do is you want to push and crack open the shell on each side, and if they're frozen the meat won't break apart, which is the nice bit. And then you'll be able to get this whole bit of lobster tail meat up and lift it out, close the shell back up underneath it and lay the meat on top of the shell, which gives you a really nice restaurant look. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so we crack that shell all the way open. Now this is why you leave that last little bit uncracked, because you don't want the meat coming off the shell. You want the meat staying intact and stuck to the lobster tail, right? It's still in here at the bottom, the ligaments or the meat is still intact in the bottom half of this shell. Okay, then what we do is lift the meat up as such, pop the shell back how it was, put the meat back on top, and you'll have, whoop, that broke off. It's not supposed to break off, it's supposed to stay in, and that's how you're going to do it. Then you're going to cook this, you're going to roast this on the barbecue. If you've got a hooded barbecue, better, because you want to close the lid, and that's going to stay like that. You watch when I cook them, that shell is going to go red, that meat's going to go white. I'm going to brush the meat with the oil, and it's going to look gorgeous. So this is it, guys. That's the restaurant look you're looking for, right? So that shell I've pulled all out. The meat is not detached from the end piece. And when I close the shell back up underneath, you can see it's just going to sit like that on top. There she is. Nice. That shell's going to look gorgeous underneath, and you see the meat is still attached there. It hasn't broken off. That's the look we're going for. Balance it back on the shell, and that's what they look. They look fantastic when they're cooked. Okay, so and now here's the 4 of them all prepped. So one you saw slipped out of its shell. But you can see now how pretty they look when that meat's been pulled out and laid back on top of the shell. And you can imagine when that cooks up and that shell goes that cooked red colour that lobster shell goes, and that big chunk of meat sitting on top, they look spectacular. Yeah, there's the tail, the back end of the lobster, there's the lobster meat still intact, there's the shell where we cracked it on top, right, and it's going to retain that hump. We're just going to lay it back down like that. Okay, have another look. There it is. We're just going to lay the meat back down like that, and it's going to go like that on the barbecue, roasting it with the lid down, brushing it with the marinade that you saw me make, brushing it while it cooks. Just before it's cooked, I will flip it onto the meat side, so that meat side hits the grill and gets just a little bit of colour lines maybe on it. But really, in essence, these are going to roast on top of the hooded grill. Okay, so I'm going to put them on the grill, close the hood, so that they roast in like their own steaming up flavour out of the shell, so to speak, and they will be absolutely gorgeous. Just because the kids want tonight, I'm going to be pairing that with a little bit of fillet that I've got there. I'm going to roast that up as well. It's not much fillet, but that's not the point of the dinner. The point of the dinner tonight is the lobster. That's the star. The meat just to pair up with it, and they're going to have their own little surf and turf. So here's our little surf and turf dinner. Here they are that I've just put the lobsters on the barbecue. I'm going to baste them up before closing the lid. The baste we made. Doesn't matter if we get flare up, because remember the shell's underneath. The shell is going to protect the meat. Protect the lobster meat, I should say. Make sure the meat's sitting nice on top of the shell, and then we're going to close those lids up and let them roast. Maybe our little lobster tails, lid down, roasting up. Okay, going to have a little look now at about the 5-minute mark and baste the lobster again. You can see the shells going nice and red, lobster getting a nice colour on it, and our meat's cooked up, of course. Lobster here curling up, so we're going to flutter. See how the meat's still opaque in the middle, but white on the edge. In the middle, once we flip it, they'll look really good. So now I've given the lobster a quick little flip, and the meat is stuck to the shell, which is the way it should be, so it doesn't fall apart. The bottom of the shells are burnt, but that doesn't matter because you're not eating that. But you can see how the shells are nice and red and orange, and the meat on the side's looking really red and white, which is what you want. And then after they get a bit of grill marks on the other side of the flesh, and they're cooked through, I'll flip them over, let them bake a little bit more in their own juice, baste them one more time, and they'll be ready to serve. And here are our gorgeous restaurant quality presented lobster tails, nice bit of char on them, nice orange coloured tails, beautiful white fish.